My name is Kukule Tutele and I'm traveling the African continent to find out how up-and-coming entrepreneurs are making a difference in their own communities. This is Profit with Purpose. This is what giving back is all about. This is Chivas Win the Right Way. ideiaLab is a Mozambican business founded in 2010 by Tatiana Pereira and Sarah Fakir, two businesswomen connected by their joint vision of leveraging entrepreneurship for inclusive development and growth. The focus of everything ideiaLab does is transforming Mozambique into an innovative and entrepreneurial country. Their guiding purpose is to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs, support the development of startups, and accelerate the growth of micro, small, and medium enterprises, and nurturing the entrepreneurial ecosystem as a whole. Their mission is clear: to act as a catalyst of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We sat down with Tatiana in Maputo, Mozambique, to discuss her life, loves, and how she got this amazing business of hers going. Tatiana Pereira, co-founder of ideiaLab. Such a pleasure to have you with us today, and thank you for making time for joining us on Chivas Win the Right Way.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Maputo.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I should actually be saying como estás?
Exactly.
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, something like that. Yeah,
Bem-vindo Maputo.
Perfect.
Portuguese already.
Perfect already. ideiaLab, it is a dream. It was mine and Sada's dream that started 7 years ago. So as a background, Sada and I, we've been friends since we were born. And then we both we did different careers, we studied different things, but then there was a point where we were both doing our masters, and a lot of times we'd add conversations around what we would do next. We managed to actually get to know the country more and to travel and to see people. And one of the things, especially for Sarah, because she worked in consultancy, and she managed to go to all different districts and provinces in the country, and all of the time she would come back and say, there's so many things to be done, there's so many opportunities in this country and people are not doing it, so what's happening? During our masters we both came across entrepreneurship, and we started learning more about it, and we really understood that entrepreneurship would be the way for having a better country, for people to actually look at those opportunities or look at those challenges and see it as opportunities.
But that must have been a bit of a challenge, because it's so easy to have conversations and discussions, right, about starting an organization or a business, but moving that from paper to a physical plan to an actual organization that has been established now. What was that journey and experience like?
It was a challenging journey, but that's the challenge, that's the journey of any entrepreneur. And I think it was even more challenging for us because if you look back at Mozambique 7 years ago, entrepreneurship was not a word at all. Like, nobody would talk about it. There was no drive to promote entrepreneurship. There was no understanding of what could be actually the impact of having an entrepreneurial country.
How did you get it right? I actually want us to go back 7 years ago and talk about that experience, actually establishing this organization in a country where political uncertainty was very rife, economic performance wasn't necessarily at its peak, given that it is an oil producing economy. But what was it like? You probably wake up and your biggest headache is actually turning this company into a sustainable business.
Oh, that took a long time. I think we were both entrepreneurial and maybe we were a bit stubborn. We had a lot of doors closed at the beginning. We were told that business incubators they didn't understand what that was. We even asked why we want to go into the incubation or chicken business, because incubation was only for chickens.
Clearly you had to break down a lot of walls and definitions, right?
Oh, for sure. And another one was that in Mozambique there was no youth, that nobody wanted to do anything, and there was no way that we could have an entrepreneurial country. So I think no, our role was basically was to change and prove that the paradigms were wrong. There was no access to finance, there was no an adequate support structure to guide the entrepreneur.
And this is across all the various sectors of the economy?
Across all of them. So we did a lot of one-to-one. We created a program called Idea to Business. And back then, ideiaLab used to exist at nights and weekends because we had our own jobs. We soon realized that even though this was all very beautiful and that we actually loved to support the entrepreneurs, the fact is that they could not pay. So we did a lot of pro bono. but then we soon realized that we had to change our business model. And that's why when we understood more the focus of the social enterprise, which is we understand the beneficiaries, we understand the entrepreneurs, we understand the ecosystem and what is needed, but now we need to bring more people on board to actually pay us to get to these people and to support these people.
How do you make that a sustainable business model though? The drive to not only make a profit, but making a profit while still serving a purpose?
I think that's the essence. I think that's what we've all been fighting for. It's basically, from the beginning, one of the challenges that we had was that people said that you should be an NGO, you should be more of a social focus. And we said, we don't want that. Because if we are working with entrepreneurs, we have to be entrepreneurs ourselves.
This is a woman on the move. A person's space reveals much about their personality, so we decided to get a little insight into what keeps Tatiana ticking. We popped into her home for a quick tour. I commented earlier to the team that my breath was taken away by the views from your kitchen. So I'm hoping that I am invited to stay. Even if I don't cook, I wash dishes very well.
You're more than invited to stay and enjoy Maputo and the beautiful views of Maputo.
Something else that you're quite good at, which we've evidently seen within this space, is the fact that you have a knack for interior decorating. Has that always been a hobby of yours?
Not really. I just like beautiful things and beautiful spaces.
You've clearly always had that dynamic to you, but has it helped in the business world and some of the undertakings that you've taken on and responsibilities as an entrepreneur?
I think so. I think I've always had kind of an eye for detail and finding a way for communication to happen and to have a flow. So yeah, you'll see in our branding that maybe there's a touch of that there as well.
A bit of a fine attention to detail.
Fine attention to detail.
Where does that come from though? Talk to us about Tatiana as a little girl, before the dreams of entrepreneurship came about, before the business opportunity with Sarah came about. You know, how were you as a youngster?
I was born here in Maputo, and I did all my life here until university. I think if I go back in the day, I was raised in Maputo was very different back then than it is today. And I think one of the things that actually made my childhood and my teenage years was the playing out in the street, the being free and the sharing. We don't have access to a lot of things, so we'd have actually had access to the people. So your friends became your family, and that's the way I grew up. And then when I studied university, I actually had a chance to go study abroad. So I did my undergrad in Portugal, and then arriving in Lisbon, it was a big city. People are very individualistic, so it was a big shock. It was a good slap in the face, like grow up now and get your way around it. But I ended up enjoying it.
And then from there you did your master's in Australia.
Yeah, from there I came back to Maputo to work. I worked in the corporate world for a long time. And then I got a scholarship and I went to Australia to do my MBA.
Well, following your experience down under and the completion of your MBA, you came back to Maputo, right, to complete your corporate career. And you mentioned to me earlier that that's when the establishment of the ideiaLab came about, but there was a lot of criticism from your colleagues, or former colleagues now, about you leaving the corporate space.
I think there still is. I think that's actually one of the biggest barriers that exists for entrepreneurship in Mozambique, because you're brought up to get the job. So there's also something that we actually work with also at ideiaLab, because you always have the family barriers or the society barriers to say you're crazy, like you're going to create your own business, why you want to do that?
What are the personal principles that you had to stick by in order to avoid the criticism, ignore the big fat check and all the benefits as well that comes with it?
You never avoid the criticism. You take it in and you smile and you do your journey, and then it will show. Because if you truly believe in what you want to achieve, and if you're really focused on the impact that you want to have, the story will come out.
What makes it worth it for you though? In
this journey, there's been a lot of times where we actually wanted to quit. because it's a hard journey.
True.
And sometimes we also, Sad and I, we have this conversation that we say, we kind of mean, because we're telling people that entrepreneurship is the way, but it's so hard. Like, how can we actually be pushing people to do this? But it's interesting that every time that we actually felt that, there's something happened, and there was something so random like being in a bar and somebody just walking out to me and said, "Listen, you Tatiana?" I'm like, "Yeah." "So I was in this training course with you, and after that, you changed my life."
On a lighter note, do you accept business proposals at the bar too?
I think businesses can happen anywhere. Actually, it's a funny thing you're saying that. I've always been a person who like to talk to people and everything, but I'm very shy. People wouldn't say that, but if I get into an ambience, I also like to go and speak to my friends, not like kind of mingle around. And then Sada is completely different. She just talks to everyone. So one of the things that we actually had to commit to make the business grow is that we would spend more time networking and talking to people. So one of the promises that we did to each other is that we always have a business card, regardless of the time that we go out. So if we're going out,
even if it's a casual night out with the girls, to let you
head down
and forget about work.
You have a business card with you all the time.
And that's also something you alluded to in a different conversation, that it doesn't take a business plan to actually establish a company.
Actually, at ideiaLab, we say check the business plan. That's another thing that people get shocked. Business plans are very important in a certain stage of your business. It's actually when you're ready to access funding. There's hardly no one that actually started a business because they had a business plan. You have to know your business, you have to know your model, you need to know exactly what are you offering, who are you offering to, what are the partnerships you can make, what are the resources you need. But they're easier tools to get you to know that. It's not about writing a plan, it's not a static document, and then tomorrow, once again, you're in a restaurant and you meet someone that can become your business partner in some way, and your business model can change completely.
What are some of those personal elements that keep you awake at night, but at the same time, when you wake up in the morning, keep you going to continue to break down the barriers despite how tough it is from a policy perspective, to continue to inspire people even though that they need a slight mindset change?
I think I've always wanted to make a difference. I feel that, I've always wanted to make a difference. I don't want to be a number. I feel that anything that I can do can actually add value to others. And that's what keeps me going. It's to grow something and to feel that it has an impact.
So we've heard about what ideiaLab does. Time to take a look at their physical environment and how they operate on a day-to-day basis. So we hit the streets of Maputo again to pop into their head office. How does it actually work, this mean machine of ideiaLab, in order to cultivate entrepreneurship in Mozambique?
It's a bit of a chaos. And we're moving now into a more of an order, but we're a small team. So at this stage, we basically, and we think that's part of the learning, we want everyone to be part of everything. So everyone supports in every stage of the business, from proposal to implementation, to feeling what it is in the ground, to designing in the beginning, to then reflect and learn from it. We really make a point. We have our regular team meetings, what we call the learning meetings, and the point is actually to share and understand what each one of us is learning.
Some might assume that as entrepreneurs helping to assist other entrepreneurs, you almost work like a consultancy. Would that be true?
We actually don't like the word consultancy.
That's a swear word in this office.
Especially for me. But we understand that our clients understand that word. And we do consultancy, but we do it in a different approach. Because the old notion of the consultant is the someone that makes or advises you on the way that you should do it. We work with the entrepreneurs. We work with our clients. We don't work or design things for them. We work together with them.
How is that experience, especially when you need to continue changing mindsets when it comes to the culture of entrepreneurship and some of the barriers that you encounter along with the entrepreneurs that you work with in that journey?
I think that's the approach, because if you are an entrepreneur, you have to own it. So it's not about getting someone to do the work for you. It's about someone that will make the right questions and give you the right tools for you to follow your path.
Sarah Fakir, such a pleasure to finally meet you. We've heard quite a bit about you as the co-founder of ideiaLab, as well as longtime friend of your partner, Tatiana Pereira. But talk to us about this friendship and relationship that you have with Tatiana as business partners. As I understand, this friendship actually goes way, way, way back.
Well, I know Tatiana since we born. In fact, since she born, because I'm 4 months older. And since our parents were good friends, we start playing together since that very early age. But a part of being business partners, we are also very good friends. We share some other very good friendships. And all this dynamic of working together and also having a social life that is very close, at least. We try not to speak about work when we are partying, but I think that that friendship also gives us a comfort to do things, to dream even bigger, because I know that I can dream and I have someone very intelligent on my side that easily gets in and supports, and I think that she feels the same way.
You've obviously highlighted that there's a common goal and shared vision for the both of you as individuals regarding the entity that you run, but give us an understanding into the dynamics. What is it that each of you bring as individuals in order to enhance your partnership?
My background is in economy and management. I work in big companies such as Deloitte, and I bring that management side for the business. And Tatiana's background is on people development. And recently I think we both understood that doing what we're doing and supporting people, it's not a matter of someone having a good idea, but this person also has to be on the right place with the right mindset to take this idea forward. Give us an overview of some of the projects that you've worked on. I know FEMI's been a big focus. You also have Business in a Box. How do all of these projects work? Business in a Box is a micro-franchise system. So we were challenged to develop two different business ideas and then to implement and replicate them through this micro-franchise system. So we are testing two very common business, but we brought, kind of innovation taste, packaging it differently, bringing different flavors. And the specific thing about this project is the target. It aimed to target young women coming from a vulnerable background, most probably that are unemployed or don't have opportunity to proceed their studies. And the thing here is that this project, and by operating this business, they can improve their lives. This only makes sense if you can do it with others. Our business proposal is to work with other people, is to support them, to empower them. And our success is directly related with their success. As more as we do, as more as we have people supporting our journey, and we are supporting their journey as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's a difference between philanthropy and what we do. I think they'll go hand in hand together, and we truly believe in the ripple effect, that you throw a pebble today and it will ripple and it will create another effect in the ambience and ecosystem. I think that when we work on an ecosystem where we work in everything, collaboration is key. There's no way we can grow by doing everything ourselves. So I think our clients are our biggest partners, and that's the approach that we've been having with all the work that we do.
It's always great to see a practical example of a company at work. So we decided to visit one of the companies that ideiaLab has assisted over the years and chat to Wasi Zacharias, owner of Woogie. Wasi, thank you so much for your time and for joining us today. You are a phenomenal entrepreneur who's based here in Mozambique and have actually established a partnership with ideiaLab. I understand they've assisted you in your entrepreneurial journey. Give us an understanding of the relationship that you have with ideiaLab and how they helped you grow your business.
When I started this brand about 8 years ago,
Woogie, right?
Woogie, I wasn't quite sure what to do or how to run a business, and I had this wonderful idea, but really no direction. And one of the founders from ideiaLab, Sara, started to mentor me through the process. And it was even before like ideiaLab officially opened. It was literally like in her office, in her house, in the living room, and we would sit through hours and hours of trying to decide what this thing was going to be.
So talk to us about this business and this brand that you have. I'm hogging one of your products, which I think I might leave with. But talk to us about it. You know, these are brands and bags that you create, but how does the process work?
So Woogie is an accessory brand now. It started off as a women's wear brand, but we decided that concentrating on accessories meant that we could make a luxury product and we could vouch for the quality. Because Mozambique textile sector doesn't really have a lot of people who are trained in fashion design.
So where do you source your products from then?
We source them here. So the person who we worked with used to work in an accessories factory in South Africa actually. So he used to make bags and he used to work in South Africa. And he came back to Mozambique and he opened his own home factory. So it's a very small workshop. And we were very happy with the quality of his work from the beginning. And we decided that we wanted to maintain a small production. And this gave us the handmade, because we are an eco-design brand. So we recycle most of our products, we upcycle most of our products. The bags that you see, for example, this material is made out of plastic bag and leftover shweshwe, kapulana. So this is all waste that we make into a textile, and then this textile is made into the bags. The leather is sourced locally as well. The only thing really that is not sourced locally are the accessories, like the zippers, because we don't really have those here.
What are the growth opportunities for your business going forward?
I think we have a lot of potential, because right now Africa is in a position that it can start to sort of dictate the direction that it's going to go. We're no longer following trends from outside, and being in that position means that we can decide how our brand is going to be seen or how our brand is going to grow.
Why is woman empowerment so important to you?
It just happened naturally, but I think as we started ideiaLab, so a lot of things that we had to do, one was to break the barrier in terms of understanding that there's critical mass and that there's youth that want to do things. And one of the first programs that we had was Femtech. And Femtech was actually a program that was created in South Africa. And then it has been implemented in Namibia, Tanzania, and Mozambique. So one of the first opportunities that we had was to become Femtech certified trainers. But in order to do that, we had to go through the training ourselves.
How does Femtech work? How does this training work?
It's focused on women that already have their business and they want to grow. It's a life-changing experience because it not only focuses on the businesses that women have, but focus also on the development and the growth of women as women. After the Femtech, the women graduate and they become part of a network that we call the Femmies Network. And so far our network already has 100 women that still help each other, that do business with each other.
In South Africa, in Mozambique?
100 women only in Mozambique.
In Mozambique?
Yeah, trained by us.
And what kind of business impact has that had on their operations?
It's inspiring to see how these women grow, only like from workshop 1 to workshop 2. The peer learning, the support that they have now, they have kind of like an internal thing that they only do business within the families. So they keep recommending each other's businesses. A lot of these businesses actually launched and grew.
What enlightens me about some of these stories that you're sharing is that not only does it speak to the ethos of ideiaLab and of course cultivating a culture of entrepreneurship, but also speaks to, again, making a difference and paying it forward within the societies and communities within which we work in. You also have quite a few philanthropic initiatives that you're part of, whether it involves children, an angel network, or again, the empowerment of women. Give us an overview of some of the projects that you've been involved in so far. What do they entail?
Because we're working with entrepreneurship, when we actually act as catalysts of the ecosystem, what we're trying to understand is like, if we want to have an entrepreneurial ecosystem, what is missing? And one of the gaps is for sure the access to finance. So because there's this gap. We decided with a group of friends to create the Business Angels Network, which is, the goal is actually to create a pool and a fund that will support entrepreneurs in an early stage.
So almost like a venture capital fund.
Yes, but for an earlier stage. There's a lot of work that we still have to do in terms of ecosystem, which is to create companies that are ready for that. Nowadays, ideiaLab has basically two areas. One that we call the support with entrepreneurial journey. So we divided the entrepreneurial journey in 3 phases: the spark, the stimulate, and the accelerate. And it was actually to look and understand that the first one is we have to change mindsets. So we have to have people believing that they need to do things. Then they move to a stage where I have all these ideas, and then what happens, right? And then I already have a business and I need to grow. So for each one of these stages, we have special offers. We have either training programs, we have mentoring, we have events. So we try to tackle each one of the phases.
What is it that needs to change there, though?
I think we need to communicate more and exchange more. I think that as countries we look at the diaspora, or you look at the Western world, and maybe the solution is right next to us, and we should be exchanging more that. And I actually have this feeling because since I got back, I've been able to actually work in different countries in the region, and more I think there's an openness to have that sharing, so I'm willing to do that. I need to share this with others, and I think that's the next step.
What does that mean for ideiaLab going forward? You're going to conquer the globe? First Maputo, then the world?
Maputo for now, Mozambique. If you look at our vision, we say we believe in an entrepreneurial country. We don't say which one is it. So if we're learning and we can make a difference, we can make a difference anywhere.
What's your message then to youth who want to be entrepreneurs and how they need to remain relevant for the future?
Dream. Allow yourself to dream. Look at around you and understand where can you actually make the difference, and start small. Start with what you have. Don't overthink, just go out and do things.
Dream. Tatiana, I want you to dream, because we've certainly had a conversation regarding the many successes that you've attained so far, and of course further dreams that you have for ideiaLab. I want us to make a toast to some of your future successes that you have, and share them with us as we cheers to this.
Cheers.
Cheers to future success.
Future success.
All the best.